Donald Trump has some splaining to do with all this information coming out of the New York Times investigation into his taxes, and he has taken at least 3 different tactics for explaining this. So number one, you could probably guess if you've been paying attention to this season of America. Initially last night it was fake news. That's it, just a tweet that says fake news. This is why he downplays the pandemic. He doesn't want to panic you. He just shouts fake news at anything that comes. So he said that, and then he took the night off, and he woke up. He was asked about it on video. And so look, obviously this is very important. People need to understand whether he broke the law or not. So here is how he reassured America.
I am looking very forward to the debate. Thank you, everybody.
Say anything about the tax returns, Mr. President. When are you going to release them?
Steve, thank you, pal.
So as a reporter shouts out, say something about your taxes, when are you gonna release them? He goes, mumbling probably. So that was take 2. But here's take 3. Okay, so the fake news media, just like election time 2016, is bringing up my capital T taxes and all sorts of other nonsense with illegally obtained information and only bad intent. The Times says that it was totally legal, and I have a feeling they probably weren't gonna do that illegally. But anyway, we'll find out. I paid many millions of dollars in taxes, but was entitled, like everyone else, to depreciation and tax cuts. Who among us isn't entitled to millions of dollars in depreciation? Who among us? He continues. Also, if you look at the extraordinary assets owned by me, which the fake news hasn't, I am extremely underleveraged. I have very little debt compared to the value of assets. He has literally hundreds of millions of dollars of debt. Much of this information is already on file, but I have long said that I may release financial statements. Yeah, he's gonna release all sorts of stuff, totally. And again, those financial disclosures he might release, we already know what those are worth. They're worth about as much as a different type of paper that Trump uses on a daily basis after downing a couple fillets of fish. From the time I announced it was going to run for president, showing all properties, assets, and debts, it is a very impressive statement, capital S statement, and also shows that I am the only president on record to give up my yearly $400,000 plus presidential salary. Okay, so he says fake news. He's gonna release another document that doesn't show anything. Will he release his taxes now? Because the New York Times is lying. Those documents are all wrong. They're full of lies, but the actual documents are obviously correct. So now at long last, will he not release them? Why would he hide them? I mean, we were so worried for so long, and now it looks like, oh my God, they were full of exactly what we thought they would be. So he has an opportunity to prove those New York Times reporters are all massive frauds and liars by releasing the documents that he suspiciously continues to not release even after years and years of saying that he will. Francesca, it's just so difficult to understand why these things would be happening.
You know, I've said it before many times, but we will see a D pic from Trump before we see his tax returns. You can bet on it. He will fake his own death before we see his tax returns. He'll join whatever island Epstein's on right now, because maybe he's on an island, a different island than his other island, but there's no way. And you can tell by the way that he words these tweets, if you know how to read ignorant well enough, that this gets him. This is just, it's a little gut punch, right? Like I have many assets owned by me. I'm entitled. I may not. Anyway, gotta go over here now. Like he is so upset by this, because, and I think it's not really about. It's not about whether he can get away with it, because he's flaunted that before, right? He's said it's on, like, I'm smart. If I can get away with not paying taxes, I'm smart. Already, I think that's un-American. I think that's unfair. I think that's cheating. That doesn't matter. For him, it's what is he worth? Is he not actually a billionaire? Is he not actually as wealthy as he is? And I think that, in speaking to is this going to resonate with any of his followers? Maybe. And maybe because they realize this guy is actually completely a phone. He's not as wealthy as he says he is. He's poorer than most people because we're not $1 billion in debt. We're not that in debt. And I just want to say, if I were Michael Bloomberg, I would go to a Trump rally and pay every single one of those people $750 to go home and see if they take it. I just, man, if I was rich, I would do that. Here you go, $750. Yeah. Don't spend it all in place. I know yes, you can use it. The times are tough, go home. Would they take it? I bet you a lot of them would.
Yeah, and look, if we're gonna be talking about Bloomberg, which story has enraged the right more? The realization that Donald Trump for years and years and years hasn't paid taxes, and even in the couple of years where he did, he paid $750, like the price of like a new iPhone, I guess it might even be more. Or Bloomberg paying off people's debt to their state, freeing them up to exercise their democratic privileges and vote and all that, their democratic rights and vote. That obviously. By the way, quick spoiler alert, all of the bootlickers are pretending that the New York Times getting the taxes is a story. How could they have done this? Not anything that's revealed in it. They're not worried about that at all. But anyway, I did want to run you through a few more of Donald Trump's comments on paying taxes. Not in response to this story, but from earlier, because as always, there's a tweet for everything. So back in 2012, Donald Trump tweeted, Barack Obama, who wants to raise all our taxes, only pays 20.5% on a 790K salary. Do as I say, not as I do. And he was sort of being honest in that last part, because the saying and the doing are very different for him. But Barack Obama only paid 20.5%. You don't pay anything. You literally don't pay anything.
Right.
And then, okay, you might think, well, that's way back in 2012. Take a look at this. So this is from 2018. Trump tweeted, signing a recent tax return, isn't this ridiculous? First of all, he doesn't do anything in his taxes except maybe sign one document. And in 2016, he paid $750. So you can stack up however much paper you want. Apparently more money went to the Michael Scott Paper Company than actually went to the federal government when that document was finalized. Because yeah, it's really annoying to sign something, but it is nice to have conned the US government out of tens of millions of dollars.
CNN had a recent graphic, and I haven't verified it, but it was basically comparing the last, I think, 6 presidents and what they paid in income tax. Clinton, $60,000 one year, which was like surprisingly low. Bush was something like, in the $200,000. And Obama was 1.5 million, by far the greatest out of all of the former presidents. Yet, I don't think he was the richest. So maybe he was just more honest. Maybe he knew if he slipped up, being the first black president, he would absolutely be gone after. I don't know.
Totally.
But it was an interesting comparison to make and to look at.
Yeah, exactly. And look, I don't know if could the New York Times have published this a week or a month ago? Some people are saying, well, it's coming out 2 days before a debate. Did they do that on purpose? Look, I'm just glad that they didn't wait to publish their book about this. So this is definitely gonna come up. Biden, they released that ad. He was asked about this, but like he has declined to give an actual statement. It sounds like he's waiting to do it on debate night. So really fast, how successful do we think that's gonna be as a focus of the debate? Knowing that Trump is definitely gonna do his line again, that it makes me smart. The question is, in a pandemic year where tens of millions of people lost their jobs and other people have just been financially ruined, is that gonna sell as like a fun line? It makes me smart, as people are watching like friends and family members die and lose everything and lose their jobs, and they're sitting at home unable to do anything. I feel like it's a different time. I don't know that that's gonna be as successful of a line for Donald Trump.
No.
You think they held it? Did they hold it for the debate?
I think, yeah, look, I wouldn't say that news organizations don't hold or decide when to release articles. I've been thinking about this. Of course they do. That's all, they know when they've been asked to hold something and they've done it. They'll release something on time. I definitely think it has something to do with the election, but it also has something to do with when they could verify their sources. I've been thinking why they didn't wait even longer. I don't think it matters that it's ahead of a debate. I don't think the debate actually really matters all that much. I'll be watching, but I don't think it super matters. I'm wondering when and how he's going to spin this and turn the narrative, and it'll all just will reset to zero, right? He just a week ago or less than a week ago said he might not leave office if he was voted out. Like nothing really matters. So if you're gonna hold it until right before the election. But once again, who knows what the calculation inside the New York Times is.
And I will say again, everyone should go read the full thing. It's like 10,000 words, but you should definitely read it, or at least skim it like a. But they've also said that there's going to be further reporting coming out in the near future. So they didn't necessarily delve into everything, certainly not to the extent that they can, and more of that will be coming. So we'll see. Probably not before the debate. There's only one more day, but perhaps in the next month, more will come out.
Check out the Damage Report podcast each day, wherever you get your podcasts, whether Pocket Casts or Stitcher or iTunes. You can join me as I give you the news and stories you want, with a range of co-hosts and interview guests jumping in on the fun each day. Again, that's the Damage Report, wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get them at iTunes, don't forget to rate and review. Sometimes I'll read them live on the show.